Hello, welcome to the first video of my new series, Programming Microcontrollers. In this tutorial series, I will show you how you can program various microcontrollers such as the ATmega series and the ESP series of microcontrollers. So what's a microcontroller? A microcontroller is a small computer on a single integrated circuit that contains a processor core, memory, programmable input-output peripherals, timers, counters, etc. Most microcontrollers have a computing width of 4, 8, 16 or 32 bits. Some examples of microcontrollers include the ATmega series, the ESP series and the STM series of microcontrollers as well as the PIC microcontroller. In this first video, I will show you how you can blink an LED using the ATmega 2560 microcontroller. For this, I will be using a development board called the Arduino. So what's an Arduino? An Arduino is a hardware development board. It is to design and develop devices that interact with the real world. There are many different Arduino boards. For example, the Arduino Uno and the Arduino Mega. An Arduino board has two main parts. The first part is the brain of the Arduino, which is a microcontroller. There are many different microcontrollers like the ATmega 328, the ATmega 168 and the ATmega 2560. Different Arduino boards may use different microcontrollers. For example, the Arduino Uno and the Arduino Nano both use the ATmega 328 microcontroller, while the Arduino Mega uses the ATmega 2560 microcontroller. The next part is a number of input-output or I/O pins, which are used to connect to various components that you might want to use. There are two types of I/O pins, digital input-output pins and analog input pins. The digital I/O pins have two states, high and low. These can either accept an input like from a push button or supply an output to, for example, turn on an LED. The analog input pins can be used to receive a varying input like that from a potentiometer. The Arduino boards have a 6, 8 or 16 channel analog to digital converter which has a resolution of 10 bits. This means that when you use a potentiometer connected to an analog input pin and change its value by turning the potentiometer's knob, you will get an integer value which is between 0 and 1023. Now you must be wondering how you can control different output devices and receive inputs from different input devices. For this, we can program the Arduino to do specific tasks. For programming the Arduino, we use a programming language similar to C known as wiring. You can either use the official Arduino IDE or use another code editor like Visual Studio Code. Now that you know what an Arduino is, its different parts and how to program it, let me explain to you what I will be showing you today. In this video, I will show you how you can make a light-emitting diode or an LED blink using an Arduino. Blinking an LED means that the LED will be on for a period of time, say 1 second, and it will be off for another period of time. You can use either the built-in LED on the Arduino connected to digital pin 13, or you can use an external 5mm LED with a 330 ohm resistor connected to any of the digital pins on the Arduino. For the sake of convenience and brevity, I will use the built-in LED on the Arduino. So now that the hardware part is done, let's move on to the software part. As I said before, we can either use the official Arduino IDE or use another code editor like Visual Studio Code. In this video, I'm going to use the official Arduino IDE because it's very advanced and powerful. To use the Arduino IDE, we have to first install it. To install it, we have to download the setup exe for that. To download the setup exe, we have to go to this link, which is arduino.cc/en/software. From here, we can click on this link which says Windows to download the exe. and click on Just Download to download the IDE. Click Save and wait for the IDE to download. So now the Arduino IDE has been downloaded. I am going to open the installer and you will get a license agreement window. Click on I agree, and here it is asking you for which users on your computer you want to install the Arduino IDE for. There are two options. You can either install the Arduino IDE for anyone who uses this computer or only for your user. In my case, I am going to select the second option, which will install it only for my user. Then click on Next. In this window, you have to specify where you want to install the Arduino IDE. There is already a default path here and I am just going to use that. Now click on Install. This will install the Arduino IDE. So now the Arduino IDE has been installed on our computer. We can click Finish. Now let's open the Arduino IDE. Go to the Start menu and type Arduino. Then click Open. So this is the main editor window. This is where we will type our code. Here you can see that there is already some code. The first line says void setup. This void setup is declaring a function. The setup is the name of the function. When you use the prefix void, it means that the function does not return any value. Like this, there is another function called void loop. These two functions are mandatory for the Arduino to work. The void setup function only runs once when the Arduino boots up. This is where we declare which pins are inputs or outputs. The void loop function, on the other hand, runs over and over again until the Arduino loses power or is reset. So let's write the code to make an LED blink. First, we have to create a variable which has the pin number to which our LED is connected. First, we have to make this variable a constant, and the variable is also an integer since the pin number is an integer. So, to declare a constant variable, we have to type const, and then to make it an integer, type int. Now, we can specify the pin name, which I'll be calling LED_pin. Now, we can set the value of this variable using the equality sign. So put an equal sign, and then we are going to put in the integer value of the digital pin, which is 13. To break the line, I am going to put a semicolon here. Now we have successfully declared our variable. Now we have to tell the Arduino that digital pin 13 is an output. For that, we can use the pin mode function. So type pin mode, and it takes two arguments. The first argument is the pin number, which we have already declared in the variable. So I am going to type LED_pin, which is the name of our variable. The next argument is the mode of this pin. We want the pin to be an output. So type output in all caps. And finally put a semicolon outside the brackets. This tells the Arduino that digital pin 13 is an output. Next, let's move on to the code that makes our LED blink. As I said before, we have to write this code in the loop function. To turn on the LED, we can use another function called digital write. So type digital write and put the brackets, and this also takes two values. The first one is the pin number and the second one is the state. So the pin number is already in our variable, so let's type that again, LED underscore pin, and we want the LED to be on. So type high, which will turn the digital pin high, and put the semicolon. And next we want the LED to be on for 1 second. So how do we do that? For that we can use the delay function. So type delay, and this takes in one argument, which is the time in milliseconds that you want to delay the program. So I want it to be on for 1 second, and 1 second equals 1000 milliseconds. So I'm going to type 1000 and then put the semicolon. Next we want the LED to be off. For that we can use the same digital write function, except we have to pass in the low argument. So type digital write and LED pin as before, and the value to be low, and put the semicolon. And so this will turn on the LED for 1 second and turn it off, then it will continue the loop. But we also want the LED to be off for 1 second, so we have to use the delay function once again. So type delay and 1000, so that will switch off the LED for 1 second. So now the coding part is done. Let's move on to the practical implementation. So as I told you before, there are many different Arduino boards. Here I have two of them. This one is the Arduino Mega 2560 and this one is the Arduino Uno. In this video, I will use the Arduino Mega. And as I said before, an Arduino board has two main parts. The first part is the brain of the Arduino, which is a microcontroller. And this is the microcontroller on the Mega. The second part is a number of input-output pins. And they are of two types, digital input-output pins and analog input pins. So these are the digital input-output pins and these are the analog input pins. And I have also mentioned that I will be using the inbuilt LED on the Mega, and this is the inbuilt LED. So now let's see how we can upload the code to our Arduino. For that we have to connect the Arduino to our computer, and for connecting our Arduino to the computer we have to use a special cable, which is this one, and one end of this cable is already connected to my computer, so we have to connect the other end to our Arduino. So let's connect it. So now we have connected the Arduino and we can compile and upload the code. So to compile our code, we have to click on this verify button. So we can see here that it has been compiled, and the next step is to upload the code to our Arduino. But before doing that, we have to select two things. The first one is which Arduino board we are using, and the second one is to which serial port the Arduino board is connected to. So for selecting which board we are using, we have to go to the Tools menu and then go to the Board submenu, go to Arduino AVR boards and select the Arduino Mega or Mega 2560 option. And the next thing we have to select is the serial port, and for doing that we have to go to the same Tools menu, then go to the Port submenu and select to which port our Arduino is connected to. In my case it is COM3, so select that. And now we can click on the upload button. So click on this button, and down here it says that it has been uploaded. So now we can see that the inbuilt LED on our board is blinking. So that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.